I thought we came out with a lot of energy in that first half. I thought Andre Applewhite really did a good job of getting to a lot of loose balls and getting some offensive rebounds and providing that energy that Rockwell Johnson usually provides. And then the other thing is, too, is like we lived at the free throw line. And anytime you live at the free throw line, I think there was a stretch there where we went 20 or 23 from the free throw line at one point in time in the second half. When we were having a difficult time with scoring, so that made up for our lack of scoring at that point in time. And then the other thing in the first half, I think we had 13 buckets and we had 9 assists on those 13 buckets. So that's always a good indication that you're sharing the basketball, and that's what you want offensively from your team.
Obviously, you get to show a good example to Colin when you stay out of foul trouble and you're in the flow offense in the first half. This is how we can play. Yeah,
and it's really important for him that he guard without fouling. He either does one thing, he guards and fouls, or he doesn't guard but he doesn't foul. So we got to get him to have a happy balance between those two. So I thought he did a good job, and I think he's a capable shooter, and he just needs to get out there and keep shooting the basketball and have some success making shots.
They said that y'all really worked on those free throws this past week. Is that something that you kind of want to utilize, get into the foul line, kind of make up for the fact that you don't have a whole lot of size down low? You can just get some easy points there. Is that something that you kind of want to emphasize?
Well, I think it's a lot of things. One is it's always good when you're getting into the paint, and there's 2 ways to get to the paint. You either pass the ball into the paint or you drive the ball into the paint. And so right now people are playing off of us, so we can't pass the ball into a paint a lot because of that. And the other thing is you just want to get to the free throw line. And then part of that, too, is you want to draw fouls on the other team because of the way they're calling the game these days. So we really want to make sure that we're driving the basketball. And the type of guys that we have on our team anyway, it best suits them to drive the basketball. So, and then as far as free throws, the guys are not in school right now, so we're taking advantage of the fact that we can come in here twice a day. So we'll have an actual practice, and then we'll bring it back in, and we'll really do like nothing but shooting. 3-point shooting, 2-point shooting, just uncontested 5-on-0 or 2-on-0 or 1-on-0, or just a coach and a player. But the other thing is we'll shoot 100 free throws at a time, 200, 50. We just got to make sure we take advantage of the fact that our guys are not in school at this point in time.
It looks like they've really adjusted to the new rule change and all that. I mean, it's despairingly different on both teams. What are you kind of teaching them as far as the fouls are concerned?
Well, we've changed what we do defensively because of I just thought we weren't having much success at all by extending our defense. I showed the guys our stat, like people have been driving the ball into the lane for us more than 25 times a game, all right? And then this last game, we kind of backed it up a little bit against Southeastern Louisiana. They only drove the ball into the paint 9 times, as compared to TCU, drove the ball into the paint 35 times. So I think that made a huge difference in the way we're playing defense. Now, I don't know the stats from this game yet, but I know they probably only went to the free throw line 12 times, and that's what you want. You want to guard without fouling.
Fred struggled again, but he was 6 rebounds, 3 assists, a block and a steal. He didn't lose focus of the defense again in the first half.
Yeah, and that's what we want from Fred. We got to get Fred to understand that he's much more than just a shooter. And really, if you look at his stats, Paul, this year and last year, he's not making shots. So I don't know if you can particularly label him as a shooter if you base it on the statistics. But he can do some other things that really helped his basketball team. So we want to continue to emphasize that with him, that don't live and die with your 3-point shooting.
Are you satisfied with the energy on defense? I thought they came out with some energy. It translated on that end of the floor, and that's how you got easy buckets on the other end.
Yeah, the one thing that we have to do, though, is we have to do a better job of finishing on the other end. We have advantage basketball. I thought we had a lot of situations where we were 2-on-1, 3-on-2, 4-on-3 because of our defense, and we just didn't take advantage of it. And also taking advantage of it in the first half by getting to the free throw line on those disadvantaged basketball and making the free throw. So, even though we're not extending our defense except if we're in a 1-3-1, we still had, I think, 12 steals.
Right.
And so, I just want our guys to understand you can still be active on the defensive end without out there pressuring way past the 3-point line.
Andre said the difference may have been your wife making chocolate chips.
Well, I got to get my wife to do some more work then if they think that's the difference.
Were you happy with the ball movement? I thought there was a time where you had I think it was 11 assists on 14 field goals. I mean, it just seemed like the ball was moving side to side more than it had been in the past, and guys were getting either open looks or good cuts on that.
Yeah, very satisfied with that. I mean, you want guys sharing the basketball. You don't want it to be a one-on-one, basketball session. Now, you need guys to break their man down one-on-one or via the ball screen, but once they get into the lane, that they're unselfish enough to kick out to open people. And I thought there were several times there where we call it one more, where a guy penetrated and kick, and then one more to another guy, and then we did one more to the other guy, and then we actually throw the ball inside. There was a great example of that in the second half where Tyson was wide open at the three-point line, and he shot fake and threw the ball to Dre, and he got fouled in the dunk attempt. So that's what you want.
What did you see that allowed you guys to go to the line so many times? I mean, obviously it's a point of emphasis, but 45 is far and away the most you've had all season.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything that we saw as more anything that we emphasized. I thought that this team, Florida A&M, gambled a lot, and I thought we could take advantage of them gambling, and so they would be really spread out. And because they're so spread out, I'll say when you play a team that pressures the basketball, there's only two ways to score. There's no offense. Either drive the ball into the paint or pass the ball into the paint. It's as simple as that. So when you play a team that gets out and spreads you out and deny, you either have to have a situation where you can drive it into the paint or you pass it into the paint on the post feed. That's it.
Can you just kind of describe Andre's last week and a half? I mean, obviously he's playing a little out of position when you go to a smaller lineup, but I don't think it's affected him on the defensive end, and he's gotten some opportunities on the other end.
Well, it's not a matchup problem for him right now when he's playing the 4 spot because we're playing smaller teams. And so when he plays at 4, there's really not that big of a difference. And the other thing, too, is, like, my big situation with Dre was, hey, I want to be able to play you, but you can't turn the ball over. And he had 4 turnovers in that first half. I think we only had 7 as a team, and he had 4 of them. So as long as he's taking care of the basketball, he can be an effective player for us because he's a big, strong kid, and he has a good knowledge of basketball.
In the final 12 minutes,